Well, hello, my name is Christopher Dunn-Meadow, and my project is called Ondori Anime. Now, I would like to personally thank each and every one of you guys for taking the time to listen to my presentation. Now, before we get started on what Ondori Anime's concept is, we first have to talk about what is anime and manga. Now, anime is a Japanese animated television series that generally airs late night that is more focused on adults, so it has more adult settings, more mature plots, and more mature characters. And now, manga is basically the same thing as anime, only in comic book form. Now, I know what you're wondering. Why is my company called Ondori Anime, and yet I'm talking about manga? Well, you see, manga is basically the basis for all of anime. Anime only exists to sell manga. So basically, it is used as a gigantic ad campaign. So we cannot have a business focusing on anime without talking about manga. So my concept is to have a pop-up store in and around large anime conventions. Now, this is because the anime industry as a whole has fans all over the place, but there is not enough in one particular area to make it feasible to have a large store. So what my concept is because anime conventions bring together anime fans from all over the community into one place, it will be profitable for a store to have just be open for 1 month and be able to sell enough merchandise to make a decent profit. And also while promoting year-round sales with online sales through Amazon or through our own website. Through the abilities for the customers to see the product before they actually have to buy. And as I mentioned before, what we are going to be selling is going to be anime merchandise, manga, and DVDs. So who are my customers? That was the first question I had to ask. So I actually went into a local anime shop and just sat down there for 3 days and interviewed and saw all the different customers they had. And now my original concept actually looked for the younger generation of fans to be my prime demographic. But unfortunately, we found out that they were not, or did not have enough capital to make it worth it. So we actually, through the research that we did, saw that older fans actually spend far more and make up far bigger percentages. So I decided to talk to them and see what they need in an anime store. So the first one that they told me was variety. They want to have not just mainstream shows, but in niche shows as well. And since most anime stores are very small, they can't handle having all the different shows that the customers would like. The next one is authenticity. They want to make sure that I'm not just pocketing the money and just outsourcing it to China. And lastly, helping the industry. They want to make sure that this industry, which is very struggling right now, their money is going to support the shows that they love. Now, my implementation. I actually hosted a little anime screenings in my dorm, in which I invited older fans, younger fans that are more casual, and younger fans that are called otaku, which are extreme fans. And they basically have a small screening, and then they came by my little stall and just told me their basic thoughts about what they liked and what they didn't like. And boy, did they tell me a lot. What the positive things that they told me is the customer's price sensitivity is non-existent. They don't mind paying my prices because anime for them is considered a luxury product, which means it doesn't matter that they're paying $45 for that plushie right there.
Oh my God.
Now, the legitimacy of the product, they love the fact that I was transparent on where my products were coming from. I told them the manufacturer, I told them where it came from, and I told them how much percentage of the industry, or the percentage of the product goes back to the industry. And they also loved that I had a wide variety of niche titles in manga and DVDs. And the best part about validation, sales. We actually made 2 sales, one to that gentleman right over there on the right. He bought both my plushie and my keychain for $75 and a profit about $62. And the guy in the center right here, he bought the DVD he's holding, and that was $42 with a profit of $27. And now, I feel it's also important to put our criticism. Now, my merchandising was one of the first things I got. Unfortunately, I made the mistake of putting all the anime that had similar cover art all together, because I thought it would be useful for all the customers just to have similar titles. But it turns out they actually just gloss over everything that looks the same and then goes to the one that doesn't, or has a different cover up than all the rest. And now, the second thing I learned was the divide amongst people that read the manga first versus people that watched the anime first. People that read the manga will not buy the DVDs. They told me that in spades because they believe the manga is better, and anime fans say the same thing about manga. So it's important for me to know this because I can't market these products to those fans. And now the other thing that they told me was types of shows. I know I just said that it was positive, but also negative, because I forgot to put in mainstream shows, because they would like a one-stop shop experience, meaning they want both the titles that will sell 10,000 DVDs as well as the titles that will only sell 500 DVDs. And lastly, but certainly not least, the variety of merchandise. Unfortunately, due to my inventory being consisting of mostly my collection, I only have a few things of actual merchandise like the plushie and the keychain. So therefore, I didn't have very much to sell. And they wanted far more of that than the DVDs and the manga. But even with this, I feel that with all these are very minor things that I can always fix. So I believe that Ondori will be successful, and I'm more than glad to take any questions.
So I love how niche it is. I think in general, the one beforehand also, in general, when you could be niche and be very specific, usually the better, as opposed to trying to be everything for everyone. Okay, so you said that the whole idea is a pop-up store.
Yes.
Around shows. So I have two questions. One is, how many different anime or manga shows are there in the United States?
In the United States? Okay, that now depends on what size you would like. But for because my concept is not also for stores, but also stalls in the smaller conventions. So there's give or take about 500.
500.
Yes, and they're growing at a rate of 20% a year.
Okay, so that's a ton of shows. And then the follow-up question is,
Sure.
The show only lasts for what, 2 days, 3 days?
A week.
A week, okay. So if it lasts for a week, doesn't it, I mean, to do a whole pop-up store for a whole month, you're gonna be wasting 2.5 weeks of that month because people will get there 2 days before, 2 days after.
Yes. Well, okay. Now,
isn't a month gonna be a waste of time?
Now, that's a great question. Actually, during the 3 days that I actually sat in, it was during Comic-Con's little reign of terror.
Right.
So they had the week before and the week after. And I actually talked to the owner to see if I could sit in one day, the week of, the week before, and the week after. And he says that those 3 weeks make up 60% of his business.
Now that's Comic-Con, which is the biggest one ever.
But anime,
anime
is similar to that.
Is it?
The largest anime convention has about 25,000 attendants.
And you could get sales across the whole month, not just...
Yes, and also keep in mind it does take time to build and to break down.
Fair enough. Okay, good, thank you.
Good.
Any question for me?
Yeah, what you said that you looked at the margin, it was about 65%
Yes,
of the margin?
Depends on the manufacturer, yes.
Okay, and where are you different exactly? Because there are, I would assume, already people are selling it in stores that you can buy it online.
Yes, so now where I'm different is that, as I mentioned before, usually because the community is very small, in one specific area, unfortunately the stores that do exist are maybe half the size of this room. So what I'm saying is, due to a pop-up, I don't have the pressure of having a full year's rent. So I can afford to have a larger space for a shorter period of time.
And they prefer, because if you go online, I'm sure you can get a gigantic variety of a lot of things.
Yes.
And you said that one of the selling points is variety.
Yes.
Right, okay. So I would assume that in your pop-up shop, there's not going to be the variety you're going to see online.
True.
Okay.
But now,
So, I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry, is that?
All right. So I'm trying to understand on the variety side, where is the pop-up shop better than the online experience?
Absolutely. I'll give you the two main competitors that we have on the online space. One would be Amazon. Amazon is filled to the brim with products like this. Unfortunately, you don't have the guarantee that that is an official item, and you can't really tell online, because most of them will look exactly the same as that, but they're going to be knockoffs from China or Malaysia. And for Right Stuff, which is pretty much the exclusive anime distributor online, their user system is absolutely dreadful. You can literally type in the product that you're looking for and not get it, just because their search engine is pathetic, and they won't provide a picture for you, so you have no idea what you're buying.
And the shops that exist now, you say that they are very small and thus they cannot.
Yes.
And what about shops that are in the shows? You're going to a show. Are there
Yes.
any shops in the shows?
Absolutely. But
So-
once again, they are also constrained, because generally a stall will be about the size of this table,
Mhm.
so therefore they can't offer variety. And the thing that the customers told me time and time again, they want variety. They want
Okay.
niche shows that can't sell the 10,000 DVDs that most Main Street shows can.
Got you.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
My pleasure.
Thanks.